John and Darren's office chairs provided by GT Omega Racing. You can check them out at gtomegaracing.com.
Welcome to This Week Inside Sim Racing, May 18th, 2016 edition. I'm John Sable, and joining me this week, Darren Ganji's back.
What's up, everybody? First thing before we get started, how about a mic check test? Let us know if we're too loud, too quiet, whatever it may be. Let me center myself here. Got my new microphone.
You could definitely hear a sound difference when you did that.
Oh yeah, I can imagine because it was close. So how you guys doing out there? Hopefully you're all doing well. So we got lots to talk about today, don't we, John?
We do. We have lots to talk about. Before we get started, though, let's give a plug for the merchandise we are sporting. Well, at least the cap. Darren's got the shirt and cap going.
And the cap.
That's right. Darren did well. My stuff's lost my shirts are lost in the move. But Racingline products. Here's their website, racinglineusa.com. Actually, pretty spiffy website.
It is. It's pretty cool.
If you're looking for racing type apparel and some of these shoes that are perfect for sim racing, go ahead and check them out.
Yes, and we got a link in the description here. So go to racinglineusa.com. I did a review on those shoes a while back, and they're quality shoes. And I don't know if you saw David Ankeny, John, at iRace for Life. He still has his. So he says they're the best racing shoes he's had. So
yeah, no, I heard him talking about that. Not only did he have them, but he swore by them. So definitely quality shoes and perfect for sim racing.
So Chris Barr is saying Mike is a little hot. Mine is. Is that the case, guys? Am I a little hot? If so, I can make a quick adjustment here. We tried to get him dialed in. We did our best. Anyway, while we're waiting for some more feedback on our mics, Tom Jones just mentioned he likes the Amazon store on the ISR forums. We got a link to that in the description as well. And if you look in our description, we always have links to buy Thrustmaster products. I think even some Logitech products. But what that does for us is if you click on one of those links or buy something from our Amazon store, which is just like purchasing something from Amazon, just basic Amazon. And as a matter of fact, you don't have to buy one of those particular products. If you just click on one of those links and then purchase something through Amazon, we get a little commission, and it helps support the show, and it doesn't cost you guys anything extra. And then you're supporting Inside Sim Racing. So if you guys would do that for us, we'd greatly appreciate it. But yeah, we set up an Amazon store at our site, and if you click on that link in the description that says the Amazon store, the ISR Amazon store, you can see I've got like computer parts in there, electronics, PlayStation 4, Xbox One stuff. So my mic's got some distortion. So let me.
And to be fair, this was the first comment I saw. They said we both sounded good. So I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit here, though, and hopefully that will help. All right, guys. So let me know. I turned it down about 10-15%. So I don't want to blow your guys' eardrums out, and my voice always seems to carry.
Yes.
So, anyway, what else we got before we get to the news?
So,
actually, one thing real quick. I meant to mention, Silver Fire just brought it up. The Amazon store right now is only for the U.S. I'm going to look into doing UK and a Canadian site as well. I know Barnacules has that set up. So anyway, right now our store is only set up for U.S. United States shoppers. So we'll get it all set up. All right, so now we're getting nitpicked here a little bit. No offense, guys, but John sounds good to me. Slight reverb on John, and that just may be his room.
Yeah, my room is really echoey, so trying to stick more things in here to eliminate some of that.
Yeah, it sounds better to me. So anyway, I think we're good to go
Cool.
on the microphone setup.
So let's roll. So
Let's roll.
As always, a like, thumbs up, that helps us out. Getting good at reminding ourselves in the notes at the beginning of the shows. News items for this week's show. Talking Project Cars, patch 11 was released this past week, including support for the HTC Vive, which was kind of the big news item of that patch. Automobilista development update was released in the past week, giving a lot of good insights as they march towards an official release. Forza Motorsport 6 NASCAR expansion is out, and kind of interesting little expansion, so we'll talk about that. Assetto Corsa Japanese car pack was released today, so we'll talk about what cars you get and all that and how much it cost. iRacing Indy 500s this weekend, one of our favorite events of the year, so give a little bit of information on that.
Are we actually running it, though?
I don't know.
Yeah, as much as I want to, tuning a setup or getting a setup. Matter of fact, there was a setup in the iRacing forums for qualifying that could potentially put you in the first split, but that'd be the last place I would want to be without a good race setup. So as much as I want to run it, and I've run it, I don't know, the last 5 years or so. I think I missed a year I was out of town, but I don't think I'm going to make it this year. Unless somebody's got a kick-ass race setup to share with me, and then I think both of us would probably run, huh, John?
Yeah, this is the perfect time if you're squatting on a great setup. Please share it with us.
Yeah, and you want to see how the guys from Inside Sim Racing perform with it. Share it with us, and we'll run it.
And let's see. So besides that, and then Gran Turismo Sport London premiere tomorrow. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll kind of be all over that tomorrow. And then we'll talk some happenings. We've got some iRace for Life videos I've gotten out recently. Thrustmaster TMX is officially released in the US here on Friday, so gonna have a review coming for that. And then I got some more updated pics of what I got going on here at the studio and getting it filled up and organized and all that kind of stuff. Then we got a poll question as always, and this is kind of an interesting one. I'm kind of excited to hear feedback on this, and I'll talk a little bit about my experience with it as I'm kind of debating that question right at the moment.
I'd like to ask you too, John, do we have the results from last poll question?
We do have the results from last week's polls, and pretty good. Had 321 people answer questions, so got some pretty good numbers.
Nice.
So yeah, and then as always, on the show and Q&A. But I think we should roll right into it.
Hold on, before we get to that, John Ulmer, which, by the way, hey John, John's in chat, said he got a setup from a ringer for Indy.
Nice.
John, if you could share it, we won't mention any names, even though we just made it public. But yeah, that's the hardest part about that race is getting a quality setup. That setup we ran last year was garbage, and it's my own fault for running it because, anyway, long story short, it really sucked for me. I think it worked out pretty good for you though, didn't it?
Oh, I hung on to it for about 180 laps. It was just finally about 20 to go. I ran out of talent, but yeah, it was a handful.
Right on.
Before we start, I'm going to give a shout out. I saw this in chat here. Danny Walker said, "Hello all. I need everybody that prays to pray for me as I'm having open heart surgery on June 7th. Would really appreciate that a lot." So Danny, definitely thinking about you. And Danny's been around. He's always commenting on our videos and stuff. So definitely thoughts with Danny. Yeah,
same here. I echo what John just said, Danny. I saw your message there in chat. We definitely wish you the best. Hope you get through it all okay. And when you do come back and chat, let us know how you're doing.
Absolutely. So, on to news items. And the first one this week, which we don't have any fancy video to show because there isn't too much to show, is the 11.0 patch for Project Cars. And the big story is HTC Vive support. So Project Cars was a launch title for the Oculus Rift when CV1 was released back about a month ago now. And now they support the Vive. So Slightly Mad's done a pretty good job jumping on top of support for the VR headsets.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. And speaking of which, I don't know if we're going to talk about this as well. I think we are. It's part of one of our news items. Assetto Corsa just added that as well.
Yeah, no, Assetto Corsa, they actually forgot to put in release notes, but yeah, no, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, they just added at least some support to it. But let's see. Besides the headset, other changes. Nürburgring Combined got some fixes. That was a new track that was released with I think it was the Game of the Year edition pack. I forgot what the exact expansion name was, but that got some fixes. Let's see, improved system for opponent labels, added support for the Thrustmaster TMX. Like I said, that's being released on Friday. Some Fanatic, that's an interesting one. Fixed an issue with Fanatic wheels where at times it would cause drop frames at the start of a race.
Interesting.
So that's an interesting one. And then also fixed an issue with Fanatic wheels where LEDs and pedal rumble motors failed to work after disconnect/reconnect. So,
yeah, I think that's one of the few titles that actually has the LEDs and pedal rumble without having to set anything up on your wheel. I think, again, that happens automatically. I'm not sure if it's on every version. It might be on the PlayStation 4. Then again, Fanatic doesn't have official support on the PlayStation 4 anymore. Or, anyway. But yeah, that's one of the few titles that you don't have to set up anything like use Fana LEDs or that kind of stuff to get it all to work right.
yeah, I'm trying to think back when we reviewed the CSL Rim, and I think Project Cars might have been the only title that that rev light strip just worked right out. It just worked. I don't think we didn't have to do anything like you said, and I don't think any other titles even supported it at that time. So they are pretty good at staying on top of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so you know what, real quick too, we don't have it in the news, but and not that he's watching, I'm sure he's not, but how about Max Verstappen
Yeah.
last week? Was that freaking awesome? I'm not, and I didn't watch it honestly. I've just heard all over social media that he won, but that is really cool. He won that race, and from what I understand too, did Lewis Hamilton take out?
Rosberg? No.
Yeah.
It was a racing deal, but I totally blame Rosberg, and I will go down this discussion in chat right now because I don't know people. Niki Lauda blamed Hamilton. Hamilton was passing. Rosberg had his car, like the engine in the wrong setting, say like no horsepower, and then he went and threw a big block. And it's like, you don't block. He pushed Hamilton into the grass, and then they wrecked. It's like, just don't block.
Yeah, Tom Jones says, I think it was 50-50 Hamilton-Rosberg. 50-50. A couple people are saying that, too. So it sounds like it was just a racing incident.
Yeah, it was more racing. At least the stewards, they didn't penalize anyone. There was talk about they were going to look at it after the race, and it's like, why would you penalize anyone? They both wrecked racing. So, but no, very cool result for Max, and I'm glad I banned myself from social media on Sunday because I didn't watch the race like Sunday night, and I think right when it happened, Aussie Stig had had it shared on our Facebook page. So I'm glad I was avoiding social media so I didn't get the race spoiled for me.
Now we're saying this Rosberg's fault, Rosberg's mistake. Rosberg should have left a car's width.
I'm glad to see that. I think it's so. Some people were like, "Oh, Rosberg beat him through turn one, so he wins the race automatically." And it's like, come on, there actually needs to be racing. I know F1 tends to forget it, but you got to have some racing.
Michael Andrews says, totally Nico Britney Spears Rosberg's fault.
Oh, they're all such prima donnas.
They are.
Okay.
Anyway, back to the news.
Back to the news. Next up, Automobilista had a development update the other day in their forums that they shared with everyone. Let me roll some screenshots there. But essentially, the next update in the beta form on Steam is coming very soon, and it features VIR and the Boxer Cup car, and hopefully no litigation is attempted by a certain German brand for this car.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. So this is going to be version 0.9.3.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm really curious to see, because obviously it's a Porsche, and it's called a Boxer. Where other titles have, like iRacing, for instance, have used the roof because they were able to license that particular version, which is basically a modified Porsche. I think that's I wouldn't say crossing the line, but it's kind of stepping on the line a little bit there.
It's awfully close, yes. So we'll see. But anyway, it's cool to see VIR coming. That's actually one of the tracks in the real world that I visited, and it's just as like empty and middle of nowhere looking as it in real life as it is in simulators. And then then we saw some pictures of a couple other cars that aren't going to be out in 0.9.3, but it'll be coming out a little later, and that includes that Copa Montana, which is kind of like is the truck-based looking car, the Speedland kart track, and then the Mendig Gymkhana. There's a picture of it right there, which is like an abandoned
Gymkhana
over in I believe it's supposed to be like a German air base or something. But yeah, no, those things are coming. So yeah, they're marching along. I don't know if I saw here in the notes, maybe you saw, Darren, they should be getting really close to official release, because they were shooting for end of April, and in case you don't know, we're mid-May now.
Yeah, it says if all goes well, this version should be deployed to early access over the next week.
Okay, so that's the early access. Yeah, I wonder when version 1.0 is going to be coming out.
Good question. And then I don't know if you saw in the Forza version of VIR, but the Big Oak is gone.
Yeah, it died.
It's gone in real life.
Yeah.
But, I was testing in iRacing for the iRace for Life seminar. I was using that track, and obviously it's still there in the iRacing version. But, yeah, it's the Big Oak at VIR is no longer. That was a big deal, too. Why, you don't like it?
Well, it was always hard to look around. It's easier with it gone, but I feel like they have to almost change their logo, because the VIR logo has like the oak tree in it, and then the damn thing went and died.
So back to Automobilista though. It looks like there's the Ultimate GTR too. There's work in progress on that.
Yeah, the Ultima GTR whip, and it was one of the images that was going in that slideshow. It's a British, what's the word they used? It's
British kit car.
A kit car, yeah. Which this is the first time, if I'm remembering right, that I think they've shown anything about this car or even announced it. I can't recall them previously announcing this. So when I saw this was a bit of news to me, unless I'm just being really forgetful. But no, I think that's new.
Grabbing questions, guys. By the way, Lionel, I just got your question. We'll add that to Q&A. John and I are actually sharing a Google Doc. Oh, there goes one of my earbuds.
We're getting a little smarter at this.
Yeah, we're getting a little smarter, so we're actually kind of sharing things real time. Actually, maybe you should double check and see if you're seeing that stuff that I've been sharing. So if you go to Q&A, there's a bunch of questions there, John.
Yep, I'm seeing it.
Cool. Yeah, we're high tech, huh? See if we can go this whole show without a technical difficulty.
Whoa. Let's not ask for that much.
I know. Did I just jinx us?
Probably. So yeah, I think that's a wrap up on Automobilista, the Boxster VIR coming in the very near future. Some other cars at the
Copacabana.
Yeah, Copacabana. the new kart track and the Gymkhana is arriving.
Gymkhanas. Isn't it Gymkhana?
It's Gymkhana.
I like Gymkhana.
Yeah, I do like that. I'm gonna start calling it Gymkhana. So that's coming a little down the line, but rolling on. So next up, news from Forza and the release of the NASCAR expansion, which is kind of a fascinating thing. There were some leaks that came out about a week or two ago, kind of showing that this might be coming. But yeah, I mean they licensed 16 different cars. Okay, well let's go backwards. In NASCAR, there's only three different makes. So you have a Toyota.
Funny you did a little faux pas there and said backwoods.
Oh.
When referring to NASCAR.
Yes, that does kind of apply. But you have the Chevrolet, Ford, Toyota, and then there's 5 teams represented. So in total, that's 16 drivers, 24 different paint schemes. And this trailer is hilarious, showing these cars racing against all these cars from around the world and all these world tracks. It cracks me up.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. Matter of fact, Mark Puck, Aussie Stig, he just blogged about this for us today. What the hell was on track with the Indy car? Yeah, that's a fair race. And he was saying he thought that the Aussie V8s, this is actually going to create some good conversation in chat, that the Aussie V8s, he says to me, could beat the NASCARs on an oval. And I'm like, no, dude.
Not on an oval.
And that's what I said. I said, not on an oval. They're not those. The NASCARs are set up specifically to oval, and they've like really mastered that. All those teams, whereas the Aussie V8 is set up to road race. I said, now on a road course, that is probably the case. I could see an Aussie V8. Yeah, that'd be a good test for us. I mean, forget the oval, because I mean, trying to come up with an oval setup for the Aussie V8 in iRacing would be a pain in the ass. But doing like a road race with the Aussie V8s against a NASCAR and seeing which one was faster.
Yeah. No, it'd be interesting. I mean, I would think the V8 would be faster, but the NASCARs, they got so much power. I mean, those guys go into the bus stop at Watkins Glen at like 180, 185. It's insane how quick they go. So, yeah, that'd be interesting. But to put a pin on the Forza Motorsport 6 NASCAR expansion pack, it comes in at a bit. Oh, besides the cars, there was also Homestead Miami Speedway that they showed there at the end of the video or partway through. But it comes in at a fairly pricey price, $20 US, and then €19.99, £15.99. So yeah, it's a bit pricey. So
John, they're saying that we're sorry for cutting you off there. They're saying they're getting some buffering. How does the connection look in XSplit?
Let's see. Oh, we did drop some frames. I'm not dropping them anymore, so it must have been for that video.
Okay.
So
they were saying they were getting some buffering. So I wonder if that was connection related there. Anyway, that's not our technical difficulty. That's settling down now. So maybe it was just temporary there. So yeah, so we're getting some comments. $20 is not worth it for that. Yeah, that is a little pricey just for a DLC pack, which basically just has here goes my earbud again. Which basically just has, I would imagine the three, what is it, Ford, Chevy, Toyota, the three cars. I can't imagine they're any different.
No.
And then you're just a bunch of paint schemes, and there's no tracks, correct?
There's one. You get a Homestead Miami.
Oh, sorry.
But still, I mean, that only creates a grand total of, I believe, 3 oval tracks: Daytona, Indianapolis, and Homestead. And then you can go run Watkins Glen and Sonoma, and those are the only tracks represented from the NASCAR calendar. So, yeah, I kind of agree. I think if it would have been more like around the $10 price point, I think that would have been fair.
Yeah, I agree. But you know what? It's the NASCAR license, though, too.
Yes, it's a licensing. All those different teams and paint schemes.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
costing you guys a premium. Speaking of which, Billy's got it, and he's going to be doing a video of it, test drive. So we should have that out fairly soon.
Yep. Billy said he's going to get that to me by Friday. So yeah, we'll get to see what NASCAR and Forza is like. I'm kind of curious how the handling is going to be, since Forza does have some inherent physics things that happen with almost all the cars. It'll be interesting to see what's the stock cars like. And
you can't stagger the setup as far as tire pressures and stuff on the rights versus the lefts and suspension setup. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. I mean, I guess we'll wait and see. Speaking of which, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but man, I was watching, well, I'll talk about it a little bit now because we were just talking about NASCAR setups. I was just watching or editing the Ray Alfalla David Cater advanced oval setup from iRace for Life, and that was really interesting to watch. And Ray Alfalla driving and David Cater talking, setup and having him make changes and see how they perform, how it performs on the track. So we got that coming soon. I got that edited, or I'm editing it right now. Anyway, jumped ship there from Forza a little bit, but so yeah, that back to Forza. It's it was like this with Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo had some NASCARs as well, and it's never going to be right. If somebody wanted to try to use that for league racing, 3 tracks, you got the cars. You're not that is just not going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, and since I waited on this earlier when we were talking about the F1 race. If anyone caught the NASCAR race from this past weekend, it was like the best race in like a decade. It was amazing.
I watched part of it.
I only watched like the last 100 laps, and they were insane. I mean, the top, it was like Kenseth and Chase Elliott, and then what's his name?
The other young guy,
Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson, right? Yeah, I did watch. That's right. I watched the end, as a matter of fact. Now that I remember, because
they were all over each other. It was great racing.
I had it going. I was driving in the stage 4, and I had it going. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of you being here, John. Having a race running down here in the studio / man cave. So when John was here, every race that was on, I could hear it from upstairs, and I'd come down, and John and I would watch little bits of it, or I'd try to come down and watch it at the end of the race. So, yeah, it reminded me of you being here, John.
Oh. So, let's see.
Anyway, back to news.
Next up, Assetto Corsa Japanese car pack was released today, and no video yet, so they're kind of slow there in the PR department. But they did have a bunch of screenshots released, and it comes with I believe that's 7 cars there. It is the Mazda MX-5 2015 road car, and then the MX-5 Cup car, and then it has the Mazda RX-7 Spirit R Plus Tuned Edition, the Toyota Supra MK4 Time Attack Drift version, Toyota AE86 Terreno Plus Tuned and Drift version, Nissan 370Z Nismo, and the Nissan GTR 34 Skyline V-Spec. So, Japanese car pack, all Japanese cars, mostly road cars. The Cup car is really the only, I guess, quote-unquote race car, and that's kind of hard to say that it is. But if you like Japanese road cars, sport cars, available at a pretty reasonable $4.99 here in the U.S., and yeah, I mean, cool if you're into that stuff. I know for me, as I said before, I'm a race car sim racer. I like to drive race cars, so road cars, they don't get me too excited, but I know there's people out there that do like to drive them.
You know what? I wouldn't mind trying those drift cars in the Stage 4 with the rear traction loss. That might be kind of fun.
That probably would be fun. It was interesting seeing a number of drift cars, so maybe Assetto Corsa is looking for some of that YouTube drifting love.
And speaking of that pack, Billy, if you're watching still, I'm working on getting you a code for that so you can do some test driving in that. Actually, I asked for multiple codes, John, so all of us can have it.
Nice.
It is only $5, but hey, we're promoting them. They should give it to us.
Yes,
right, John?
I agree.
That's right. Oh, someone asked about my shirt. Must have come in late. Racingline USA, hat, shirt. They have racing shoes too, so check them out. There's a link in the description here. U.S. mainly. They will ship internationally, but it's super expensive. So yeah, someone said no Mitsubishi in that pack. Question mark.
Yeah, no Lancer, no Evos, nothing like that. So, but then again, Mitsubishi's like barely a car brand these days. So they don't even sell the Evos anymore.
Yeah, Howie47, back to the road cars versus race, said road cars are harder to race than race cars. You know, that's true. You know, but running on street tires, you know, and it's all about keeping the momentum up. You make one little mistake in a pack of cars, and you're left in the dust. So,
yeah,
anyway,
I do agree to that point. I just don't care to drive around the track as much as a race car. I want to be a race car driver. Damn it! I got a regular road car in the garage.
yeah, exactly. So, next up, Indy 500 coming this weekend to iRacing. We started mentioning that at the top of the show. We were kind of begging John Ulmer to give us his setup. So qualifying ends 8 p.m. Eastern Time Friday. And this is something, you know, I love iRacing. Everybody, there's no secret that we both love iRacing. But this is one thing that I don't like that they've done about these special events. And I understand on one hand, well, I guess there's two main reasons why they do this. There's 4 different splits, 4 different time slots running this event. Saturday 1 o'clock GMT, Saturday 8 o'clock GMT, Sunday 1 GMT, and Sunday 12. I'm assuming, 12 a.m. GMT. That takes it away from being a truly special event, because then you basically have 4 top splits. I'm sure there's going to be a majority of people running at a certain time slot, and I think one of the other main reasons is why they do this is so everybody's not piling into the server at the same time to run in the race. So it kind of spreads things out a little bit. But what do you think about that, John?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think iRacing's at its best when it's only a single race, like the Daytona 24 Hours, and I think that's right. Sebring this year they ran multiple, I think. But yeah, it's like I like it when they just do one race. I also like it when they run the race on iRacing a week after the real world race runs, because I feel like you get more hype for it. People watch the real world race and want to come drive it. And I know this year, schedule-wise, like, I mean, it's kind of like, oh, the Indy 500 is already upon us, and I just haven't really had time to prepare for it, and I just like it the week after. But no, I agree with you. I think it should be a single race, and I know they do it because of time zones, but I think there's a way to fix that where you run the event. Oh, and I thought maybe Wim could comment on this, but I think you should run the event in iRacing at the same time as the World War race.
Yeah, Wim did comment on it. He said, and a few people were commenting on it, that it should be one time slot.
Yeah. So the Indy 500 is ran at noon Eastern time. I think the iRacing event should be like the following Saturday and should start at noon Eastern, and that's going to be whatever time it is around the world. And on the flip side, when they run like a Spa 24-hour race, have it start at when it starts in Le Mans, France. Start at that time, and that means us here in the U.S. have to get up really early to run it. Then we have to. And the same with
Aussie V8s. Yeah, I agree. And yeah, that's the way it really should be. And you know, that's the way it was initially when they first started doing the Indy 500s, and it was awesome like that. Oh, come on. iRacing feels like Mario Kart. Dude, that is the stupidest comment I've ever seen. Anyway, yeah, I think I would like to see them go back to, I was really disappointed when they did it for Sebring, even though everybody piled into a certain time slot for Sebring. But yeah, it would be nice to see them, especially for an Indy 500, Daytona 500, Aussie V8s at Mount Panorama should all be in that time zone slot. And like you said, John, you wake up at that particular time. If you really, it's a one-time event. I mean, so if I really wanted to run the Aussie V8s at their time, I would make sure if I had to, wake up at a particular time to do it, I'd do it. So, anyway.
Yeah, no, I think, it's a debate every single time these races come up. And I think iRacing would save themselves a lot of pain if they just say, we're going to do one race at the same time as a real world race. Nothing we can do about it. If you can't make it, you can't make it. But, yeah, that's That's our thoughts on it.
Yeah, and like Wim just said, if you have to run the event while you know many people already did the event, it just does not feel right. So
It doesn't.
if you guys are watching at iRacing, and I hope you are, Tony, and any of the other guys there, go back to one split for these special events if you can, because it just doesn't make it as special.
Yep.
So,
totally agree.
Anyway.
Anyway, as far as running it, if I run it, it's going to be like Sunday, 8 a.m., because I got a whole bunch of other things to do, and yeah, I don't know. I say it's probably very likely I'm not going to run it, but if we get it set up and maybe I get some time to practice, maybe I can run that Sunday morning. We'll see.
Yeah.
Saturday, I got a bachelor party to go to, so...
Uh-oh.
Actually, that's right, I forgot about it. So Sunday morning could be ugly.
You hope.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you didn't have fun.
Yeah, we'll see. It's not a very organized party. It's like, we're going to go out and drink, right? Yeah, okay.
Are you going to have strippers?
Oh, no, I don't think we're doing that good.
What?
I know.
Dude.
I know. We're pretty lame. A lot of engineers.
And hopefully our better halves aren't watching this right at this moment.
It's like a lot of engineers, and then a lot of a part of the whole friends group are the girlfriends and the people getting married. So
sausage fest.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that would go. I don't think that would go over well. Word would get out. Easy for me to say. Okay. Let's see.
We're not young whippers. Well, you kind of are, but yeah, Andrea would not be going for that. I'll just say that right now.
Let's see. Okay, last news item.
Hold on, I gotta before we get to that.
Oh.
So what's the thing of wearing a hat inside the house? Well, part of it is we're being seen by potentially thousands of people here, and my hair looks like shit. Okay, so that's why I'm wearing a hat today, and to support our sponsor. But yeah, normally I don't wear a hat just hanging out by myself.
Oh, I don't know. I this days I wear caps all the time, inside and out. But
yeah, I kind of do too, and it's anyway. It's to keep the bright lights out of my eyes.
I like what Wim wrote. If there are strippers, we need a live stream.
Yeah, hook it up, John.
I'm glad we keep on appealing to our 97% male demographics.
Hey, there's women that like female strippers too.
Well, that is true. Anyway, before we dive down into that,
we already did. Let's get our minds out of the gutter.
Yeah, something I missed earlier to show the Assetto Corsa that you mentioned. They pre-alpha VR support for the Oculus Rift. So
as a matter of fact, Avenja commented, "Oh my God! Just tried the Assetto Corsa Oculus Rift support! Exclamation! Exclamation! They have VR menus in game, so you can finally change your car settings."
Wow, I'm pretty impressed by that, because the whole thing we talked about, I think just even like a month ago, was that they had a bunch of other things going on, and they wouldn't give any kind of. They kind of made it sound like VR support we'll get to eventually later this summer, but I guess people complained loud enough and they listened. So here it comes. Yeah,
and we're starting to see that Project Cars. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be posting the Otto Zabini question and answer session from iRace for Life. Got that edited. Actually, I've got it uploaded already, so I'm going to post that probably a little bit after the show. And he talks about Oculus and Vive support, and that they're working on it, and they want to get it back implemented. They had DK2 support, so anyway. And by the way, Tim, I was not on any pain medication. I'm a man. I didn't have any pain medication for my oral surgery. Anyway, so yeah, it's. I think now that these commercial, or consumer versions are out, we're going to see a lot more titles offering full-on support. So.
Yeah, and Wim just correct me here. Assetto Corsa also works with the Vive, so it sounds like both headsets are supported, and kind of supported. Like I said, they're kind of calling it beta right now. So it doesn't sound like it's full support, but it's heading that direction.
That's cool.
Okay,
Very cool.
and then the other story that I was actually looking for before I saw that image that I forgot about earlier was the Gran Turismo Sport unveiling in London, England tomorrow, the 19th, and then open to limited public on Friday, May 20th. But yeah, we have our very own Mark Puck heading out there to cover that for us.
Yep, the Aussie Stig is going to be there for Inside Sim Racing. That's going to be really cool. It's going to be his first correspondent event. He's got a camera, just got himself a tripod, and he's going to be there representing ISR TV. So he's flying into London tomorrow morning and is going to be there for all the festivities. So really looking forward to seeing what he gets for us and what his take is. He's going to get to drive it. So what his take is on Gran Turismo. And as far as I know, Mark has never driven, I don't think he's ever driven a console title, period. So it's going to be really interesting to hear his take, being a super hardcore sim racer, and hearing his take on GT Sport. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. And I was a big fan of Gran. You were a big Gran Turismo guy too, for a long time too, right?
Gran Turismo 4, I played the hell out of that. I played a ton of GT4. I was still on controller then. I didn't, but GT4 on the controller led me into jumping to the PC and getting Momo Black and racing NASCAR Racing 2003. Yeah,
and I spent a lot of time on Gran Turismo 5. As a matter of fact, we pretty much for the show, we went and did first impressions or an early review, and then we went and did like a final review where I went through almost the whole game, and did all the B spec. I finished in B spec. I didn't finish in A spec because I just didn't get through those endurance races. But for what it was, for what it is on the console, I enjoyed Gran Turismo 5. Gran Turismo 6 was a lot of the same thing. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what GT Sport's going to be like. Some comments about would like to see GT Sport on the PC like Forza. I just don't see that happening, just because I think we're seeing Forza on the PC because of Microsoft, Xbox One, Windows 10, that whole tie. So I just don't see that ever happening. I mean, it'd be great if it did, but honestly, Gran Turismo is a console seller.
Yes.
I think I was looking at some numbers yesterday. Gran Turismo 5 sold 10 million copies. And that's not including GT Gran Turismo Prologue. So that's a lot of frickin' people. If you do the math, 10 million times $50, even if you average it at $40, what is that? What does that come out to? What come on, engineer, what does that come out to?
I don't know.
That's $400 million.
Well, that sounds about right.
Well, it is right. I just did it in a calculator.
I'm just saying. It's amazing how popular the GT series is, and I've been blown away with how much of a community there still is for GT6 with how old it is, and it's on the PS3.
Yeah.
I mean, the PS3 is ancient now, and the world's moved on, but people have stuck with it, and now finally, thankfully, and also I feel much better for those people that they can race GT Sport and come on the next gen. Because next gen, it's kind of, you can't really call it next gen now. It's the current gen. It's been around forever.
Yeah, it's been out since, end of...
2013.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of this year, it's 3 years. Well, then they're having the upgraded versions of the console coming out, which has never happened in the history of console systems. From what I understand, the PlayStation 4 is moving to that to support VR, which makes sense. VR needs some horsepower. So anyway, yeah, Mark Puck is going to be in London tomorrow for that event. Spending the night. We'll be there Friday as well. So hopefully he'll get footage of it for us to share here on the channel. And worst case, he'll do a piece on it, on his experience, and give us his impressions. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that happening.
Yep, it'll be interesting to see what they got there rig wise and what you're able to drive wise, and it'd be really cool if they had one of those VR PlayStation headsets. But I'm not going to hold my breath on that. But
Yeah, I don't think it is either. I don't think we'll be seeing that either. But I mean, considering I'm sure we're going to hear about a release date. They're doing some FIA pre-release racing there, or something like that. I don't have the exact name, but I'm assuming we're going to hear a release date. And I'm also assuming John just signed up for E3. Speaking of which, have you heard back for your media registration there, John, for
I haven't
E3?
yet.
So we're also assuming it's going to be at E3 this year. So at least I would think it's going to be. I mean, if they're doing this launch party, I can't imagine it not being at E3 this year. I'd be really surprised if it wasn't. So I'm assuming we're going to be seeing that before the end of the year. And what is GT Sport going to be? And I'm assuming we're going to find out about that tomorrow as well. Is it going to be like a prologue? Is this just going to be something to support GT Academy? Is this basically the prologue to Gran Turismo 7? So I'm hoping a lot of questions are answered tomorrow.
Hopefully that'd be nice. Someone made a comment about my orange drapes and green walls. It'll eventually get fixed. The green walls, they're an okay color, but that's gonna get painted eventually. And the orange drapes are actually the little ones' drapes. I just stole them, so.
I don't think it looks that bad, John. Don't worry about what people think. As a matter of fact, compared to the way this room used to look when I first moved here, these walls were just old school wood paneling, and I had these nasty ass drapes in this room. As a matter of fact, I was just looking at it the other day. If you go to the Euro Truck Simulator review that we did, you can see my old school wood paneling. I think it looks fine, John. Don't worry about what people say.
Okay.
F the haters. I'm not gonna drop an F-bomb like John did.
That's right. That was special. Maybe after another 600 episodes.
John, you have you shown or actually Skyjuice just asks for a tour of the new studio. You've posted some pictures on Facebook.
I posted some pictures. I got some pictures coming up here in a minute. And and I might eventually, we'll see. I might eventually do a little video, just kind of doing a little walk around, because I think people would like that. So
yeah, you guys should see how empty this room is now, compared to how we had it when we did that piece. It was on one of these shows where we did a tour of the studio. But yeah,
ready to put a projector down there for you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna make myself a little theater room for my wife and I, because we are movie fanatics. But I was telling John I broke down Frankenrig this last weekend. The base that I had it sitting on is been destroyed at this point. I dumped it, but totally broke down the JCL 2B Faster rig and have that all in parts, which I'm probably going to build something up with it, or just use it to add to my new beast back there. But anyway, let's see some pictures of the new digs, John.
Sure. So let's see. Come on, mouse. Let's see. Here we go. It is moving slowly. So these are the pictures I showed a couple last week. That was the first weekend getting in. That's what it looked like last week. This is where we're at earlier today before I set the lights up. But I got the bat now, has all 3 monitors on it, and I also got a table set up, and I got a shelf with the Thrustmaster boxes on it, so making it like the Washington studio. Already got tape down on the floor for where the camera goes.
I see that, yeah.
And then and this picture was shared yesterday on our social media with the hashtag #TheBatIsBack. So in case you guys aren't hanging out there, I figured I show it off here with a fancy Instagram filter. But,
speaking of the bat, really quick too, John, before I forget, John was in contact with Acer this week, and we're going to be getting one of the, was it the V35? Is that the...
Here it is.
John's all ready to share it with you guys. Yeah, John is getting one of these monitors and is going to be able to do a direct comparison to the BAT, or at least the, what is it, the QR3501 or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, the XR3501 BenQs, and this is
close.
the Acer Predator Z35, and it is a direct competitor. Same specs, everything. Like everything the same, except G-Sync. So it will be interesting to see the difference. And also, like the monitor I'm on right now, actually it's my girlfriend Angela's monitor, is FreeSync. So I want to do a show talking about FreeSync, and then in that review, we'll get to try out G-Sync and see how that compares, because I believe the Acer monitor is 100 hertz G-Sync, where the BenQ is 144 hertz, no G-Sync or FreeSync. So, but they're both 2560 by 1080. They're both 2000R curves. So yeah, it'll be interesting head to head.
Yeah, Tim just brought up a good point. The Acer sells for about 100 to 200 more. Yeah, you know what? I got to try G-Sync for the first time at iRace for Life on a few different rigs, and you know, I got to say, I was running in an IndyCar race, and so that was with a 980 Ti, and graphics set pretty high, and in a lot of traffic and stuff, I was dropping down to like in the 60, 70, 80 frames a second range, and I couldn't tell. I didn't see, like, a lot of times if I'm running at 60 frames a second compared to, you know, I'm usually running at 120, 144 or more on my system, I can see it. I could not see or tell that there was any input lag running G-Sync. So G-Sync is friggin' awesome. From what I got to try it, it seemed pretty sweet. Somebody just said, John, you can't use FreeSync.
So yeah, I saw that, Chris. On this PC that we're using for the live show, like I said, it's my girlfriend's PC. It has an AMD card, and even more so, the other PC that I brought with me back from Washington has my old, I can't remember what it was, but it's an AMD card as well. So I'll probably put that card in here, and then it's a FreeSync monitor. So I can use FreeSync on this monitor, and I do want to try it out sometime to do for a show.
So what did he mean? You can't use FreeSync?
Well, he was thinking I didn't have an AMD card.
Ah, okay.
But I do. We got both here. So
and is that card compatible with FreeSync? Because I know like some certain older generation NVIDIA cards don't support G-Sync.
It is. I looked, and AMD actually they go back a little ways for FreeSync compatibility. So it is. So
yeah, so Andrew Mosley, I've got G-Sync Acers and love them. I can fluctuate from 100 to 45 frames a second and not notice.
Wow. Pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
And then also people are asking, a couple other things. People asked on the BAT, they asked if I opened up, come on, man, XSplit really is struggling today. So we do have some probably drop stuff on our side. They asked if I opened up the angle a bit, and I did. I probably got an extra maybe 6 inches opened up on each side.
I was curious about that too. It looked like it.
Yeah, and I said back in Washington, next time I set this up, I was going to open up a little bit more, and I prefer it tighter in, honestly, now that I've sat in it. But it's so much easier to get in and out of.
I bet.
And that was the main thing. Like I really had it. It was. I don't know. You saw it was. Like I
tried to get
out
my
of there.
I tried to get my big ass in and out of that thing, and it was not easy.
So yeah, so now it looks more ergonomical.
Well, it looks like you have you have 180 viewing. You know, based on.
I do. 100
you see me, John?
I was waiting for you to say degrees. Yes, I still have 180 degrees, and actually, I mean, the way I had it, I was actually having some screen that was really kind of like further than 180 degrees. So now I'm like right there. So no, I think I'm liking it overall in terms of just ease of getting in and out, and it's not quite a monitor as close to my head. But racing wise, I do like it pulled in a little more, so it does feel a little less, I don't know, like you're sitting in the car than what it was before. But we'll run like this for a while, and if I really feel the need to adjust it, I'll adjust it again. At least I went and I got some new washers, so I got it a little more sturdied up than what I previously had. So it's going pretty good. Sweet. Oh, and then someone else has the other thing. Someone else mentioned that, okay, monitor is great, but what about a 1080? Like I said in case you missed last week's show, talk to EVGA. It's kind of on the list for when they come out with a new next-gen Pascal card that hopefully we get one. So working on that, because definitely want to check those out big time with the curved triple screen, that new multi-projection technology.
Speaking of last week, everybody, let's give John a round of applause for last week and the great job he did going solo. You did a great job last week, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You
helped. A lot of talking.
Yeah, you did. I know you were like towards the end of the show. You're like, I can barely talk.
I gotta
Let me get some water.
Let's see. Some other happenings going on. We released a couple videos from iRace for Life. This was an interview with Sam Maxwell, which turned out really well and getting a lot of great feedback on that.
Yeah, it did.
And then in a second here, it should transfer over to the Wyatt Gooden video. First you gotta watch me miss the apex and spin out.
What the hell are you doing putting that shot in there?
I said, why not? I thought I did a pretty decent job getting it back on the track. And then next up is a clip of Wyatt Gooden for one of his. There's gonna be 3 classes, right?
Yep. This was class number 1. I've already edited, and I didn't realize I was doing class 3 until I got about halfway through. But I've edited class 3, which is friggin' awesome. He talks about setting up the Formula Reno. And he drives it at Road Atlanta. Wyatt is a smart guy and really knows his stuff when it comes to setting up a car. So got that done earlier. I mentioned I'm working on the David Cater. Actually, so I got the 3rd one done of Wyatt. I got to go back and do the 2nd one now. And I'm about 75% done with David Cater and Ray Alfalo, which that's the 3rd in line. I may hold off on releasing that until I get the first 2 done as well. So anyway, I did a count. I have 11 iRace for Life videos to publish. And I've already done, so I did the Wyatt one that we just showed. I've already edited number 3 of Wyatt, so that's 2. I did the auto Q&A, that's 3. And I'm, like I said, 75% done of the David Cater, Ray Alfalo, which is another great video. So that's 4. 7 more to go after that. So yeah, lots of videos. And then John, you've got 2 more interviews coming.
Yes.
Plus, you're going to do a road and an oval recap video. So yeah, we're going to have total 15 iRace for Life videos. 16. You're doing 5, John, right? Yeah, 16 iRace for Life videos coming. So, next year at iRace for Life, couldn't you guys get a direct feed from monitors and Wyatt's talk? You know what? We probably could, but if you go back and watch that video, there's 3 camera angles running. And being able to feed all 3 camera angles into a live feed would be difficult. I'm sure we could feed just one of them into it, but it's... logistically, it might be a little tough. It's tough enough just to get... And John and I aren't operating the cameras in that. There's a production team of just 1 or 2 guys just running those cameras in those. So anyway, it's probably not going to happen. Doing the live stream for us from iRace for Life was tough enough.
Yes, absolutely. It was a good one for some of you guys in chat. Buds IR or something, I believe, said, is VR good for sim racing? And I think a lot of people definitely, especially Mark Aussie Stig Puck.
Or Venja. Don't ask a Venja or Mark Aussie Stig. And then if you ask Wim Wim will tell you you got to worry about a fire in your house. You could just go up in flames and not know your house is on fire. I guess you could smell it though. But what if you had a cold? What if you were sick and you were sim racing?
I'm constantly congested. I would never smell it. I would die.
Isn't that right, Wim? Wim, you're worried about a fire in your house. By the way, I had a great conversation with Wim about a week or so ago. We sat and shot the shit for about 2 hours via Skype. It was great catching up with him. Scott T, you just asked a great question, and we'll get to that in a minute. We're almost at Q&A here, so anyway. And
just to put a pin on that VR, yes, I know people see the monitors and go, "What about VR?" We asked for headsets. We got a go pound sand type answer because they don't have any to give us. So they're pretty much like,
go
buy
kick rocks.
some.
Yeah, go
and
kick rocks.
Can't go buy some. They're not, they're hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, I think I went to pre-order it and it was like August. So hey, if there's anybody near Spokane or
Dayton,
Ohio, and you've got an Oculus or a Vive. Speaking of which, John, Bernie at Sim Experience told me he's supposed to be getting. I think they ordered one, so we may be able to get to borrow theirs, or maybe you could take a drive over there and pick it up. Yeah, something. But yeah, we would. I don't want anybody to think that we're against VR because we're not. It's just based on the DK2 and what I tried, it's just not my preference. I know a lot of people out there swear by it and love it, but I love my. I'm really sick of people saying when they see videos that we put out, "Oh, that's dated technology, triple monitors, VR is the way to go." You know what? Great. Hey, if you love VR, awesome. Kudos to you and kudos to anybody that loves VR. And it makes for another great way to sim race. But I love my triple monitors, and I'm gonna for a long time. So anyway.
Like I said, until they figure out how to get rid of VR head hair, I mean, I'm not quite sold yet.
Yeah, and I just don't know if I talked about this. I don't like having I don't even like having these earbuds in right now.
I don't like having glasses on, so I'm always like this.
Yeah, I wear glasses now too, and I don't. I wear them to do gaming, and I'll watch movies with them, and sometimes driving and stuff, just so I can see a little bit better. But I don't like wearing them. Anyway, there was I don't know why it's blocked, but Sean. Maybe because the name's Sean, because I got so many stupid comments about Mr. Cole. Sean Villasack said, "I would, but I'm in Northwest Ohio, John."
Northwest. Well, we could maybe arrange things. I mean, Northwest Ohio is only 3 hours away, and I don't mind a little driving. But yeah, if anything, if you do reach out to me, John at InsideSimRacing.tv. As I stumble through the email, or the Twitters, or the Facebooks,
there's ways to reach us. Yeah,
plenty of ways to get us.
Plenty of ways. Yeah, trust me, we get inundated.
Let's see.
Go ahead.
So the last of the things that are happening, as I mentioned earlier, going to be putting out the review of the Thrustmaster TMX wheel. This was the first look that Darren did back 5 weeks ago now, I believe it was. And that gets released on Friday. And I don't. Is it Friday in the U.S. only, or is it around the world?
I'm not sure, but this answers Jazzy Girl 104's question. When are we doing the review on the Thrustmaster TMX?
So that hopefully Friday. I gotta kind of
soon.
I gotta kind of bust it out here.
Come on, John, get with the program.
I know I got behind, but shooting for Friday release day. But yeah, so that'll be coming #soon.
And I'm going to change our block settings here because I got a feeling, this guy's name is being blocked.
Okay. And in the meantime, we have a new poll question this week, and it should be up in the upper right-hand corner. There should be a little eye to click on. And this week's poll question is, do you sim race on wired or wireless internet connection? And that question comes up because I'm in a decent sized room, as you saw, and I'm trying not to run wires everywhere. So I'm thinking about running some wireless settings on some of my rigs, because I used to race wireless completely. I used to iRacing wireless, and I didn't have any issues with it. So I'm debating doing the same thing here. And actually, what I was looking at, which let me do a little segue here, is I was looking at picking up a wireless dongle on Amazon. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come to our site.
No, you're not. Don't do that.
Don't do this?
No, we're not supposed to be buying stuff through our own affiliate program.
Oh, okay. Well, then I won't do it, but you can do this.
Yes.
So I'm going to type in wireless adapter and spell it wrong, but thankfully we have the technology. And I'm looking at this little guy right here for $8. So that's a good way to support the show and shop on Amazon. And like we said earlier, it doesn't cost you anything.
So you're really thinking about going wireless again, huh?
I am, and that also, let me bring up this screen here. So I did a little test. So I have a wireless adapter that I bought back 7-8 years ago. I had this in college, and I know people laughing at my dongle comment. So a wireless adapter that I bought years ago. And when I was looking at things last night, I was kind of like, well, let me plug this in and see if this works. Especially because Windows 10's gotten really good where you plug a new piece of hardware in and it automatically downloads the drivers. Maybe that'll work. So I tried it and it did. And these were my results. So up on top here is my internet speed test for wired. And on the bottom is wireless. So as you see, the only difference is for some reason my download speed got cut in half. So, but I think that could be because that's a really old adapter. So I'm hoping if I get something updated, I could get better download speed. But that's good enough download speed to race. I did iRacing on wireless at 10 down.
Yeah, it's not about your up and download speed. I mean
ping.
That's covered. It's ping, and the quality is the most important part.
And for those who don't know, the lower ping number, the better. And 1 is, I mean, you're fine if you're below, what, 150?
Something like that, yeah.
So I'm thinking for those rigs behind me, the Bats and Next Level, and then I got the Track Racer set up, those might just run wirelessly, and I might just stay wired on this machine that I'm using for the live show.
Yeah, and Matthias Buck says wireless is the only way to get some dash HUDs running, isn't it? Yeah, but that's completely separate.
That's different.
Yeah, that's not the same. And then Billy just mentioned, don't they make something that routes the internet through electrical outlets, power something? And people are commenting power line adapter. Interesting.
So yeah, so that's this week's poll question. I have it where you just say wired. And then I think the other answer is wireless and it works well, and then the third possible answer is wireless. It doesn't work well. So be interested to see what people say.
And Sean Villisack said, "Oh, speaking of which, I just unblocked him." So it wasn't you weren't blocked, Sean. It was your name was blocked because it's similar to Sean Cole's name, and I don't even want to get into that. Anyway, he's saying if you have a PCIe slot open, he would get a Wi-Fi card instead of a dongle. And yeah, I agree with that. Better connection.
But at a price. And I looked at that, and I don't have a PCI slot open anymore. My sound card took up the last one. And also, those do tend to run like $60, $70, $80. So I'm going to try the USB adapter. It's $8.
Oh, you know what? We're buffering, and we stopped on a really funny shot of me. So yeah, check the XSplit stream again there, John. It looks like
we did drop some more. We're over 2,000 frames dropped.
Wonder what's causing that.
I don't know. I don't know why it's running so rough.
You got a bunch of stuff. Well, maybe it's because we didn't have this problem when we did our stream before.
Yeah. So maybe give it a refresh. It's not dropping any frames right now. Everything's solid.
I think it.
So,
Yeah, I think that's where the hiccup happened.
Yeah. Odd.
No, it dropped again. It looks like. Maybe we should drop.
Well, I don't know. We can keep seeing. At least I'm not seeing any frame. They're on a bit of delay, so I'm not seeing any frames drops at the moment.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now. It's running again. Anyway.
like what Wim said, a whale sitting on the transatlantic cable.
Yeah, I wonder what the heck's going on. It must be. You know what? Check check out how your PC's performing there, John. See if we're overloading it. But we weren't even really running anything.
No, it's ran great the last couple weeks. As my task manager covers up chat. So I can't spell task. Let's see. No, I'm only running at 72% on the CPU.
Huh.
So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe next week we just need to do a reboot before we go live.
Apparently.
We apologize. You know what? It's my friggin' fault. I jinxed us. I said, hopefully we can get through this show without any... and you know what? No, it's your fault, John. You started talking about connection shit.
I did talk about connection. But this is wired. I don't know why it's doing this, but...
So yeah, guys, just try to refresh anytime it does that.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come back. Anyway, we apologize for the technical difficulties that are completely out of our control. So where are we at, John? Q&A?
Q&A, but first, let's just go back over last week's poll question. Quickly, we asked, do software's delay bother you? Maybe we should ask if this week inside Sim Racing buffering delays bother you. But the answers, 69% said no, you'd rather have it right. 18% said, meh, it's software, this happens, which was kind of the camp I was in. And 11% said yes, if you're going to put a deadline, meet it. So overall, a pretty forgiving group out there.
Yeah, you know, I was one of the people that said 11% yes. I wouldn't really say that it bothers me. I just think it's unprofessional, to be honest. I mean, and hey, I'm all for get it right before you release it, but how about get it right or get it close and then come up with a release date? You know, don't say it's. I mean, now this is Assetto Corsa is doing the same thing that the guys that Project Cars did. You know, delayed it once, set a new date. Delayed it again, set a new date. And so I am all for getting it right before releasing it, but man, get to like 90% done before you say, hey, we're releasing it on this date. You know, and they're not the only ones that, you know, Gran Turismo did this too with Gran Turismo 5. That was delayed a million friggin' times.
Yes.
So, you know, I think it's just a big fat tease for a lot of people that are really looking forward, you know, to something coming out. You know, Billy said, don't announce it till 6 months to go. Well, you know, Kunos was even closer than that. Or, well, yeah, that June, I don't remember the exactly. Well, no, so there was a release date before June.
April.
Right. And that was, towards the end of last year. So that was within that 6 month window.
Yeah, they announced it in January that was going to show up in April. So, yeah.
Rare Air, you want my shirt and you're in the U.S., go to RacingLineUSA.com. Matter of fact, there's a link in the description. They're one of our sponsors. Would like to thank them for sponsoring us. And here, give you guys a better shot of my shirt, too, so you can see all the tracks on it.
It's a nice shirt. I like the black and yellow.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh? Anyway, yeah, RacingLineUSA.com. So we going to Q&A now, John?
Yeah, let's do Q&A, and if this is working, it's working, and if not, then
So be
we'll
it.
try it again next week.
Yep. So
we got through most of the show that people say they want to watch.
yeah, we get complaints that the show's too long. Eric Keibel, do you guys have a GTX 1080/1070 review incoming? So far, I haven't been able to find a review that tests the SMP features on triples. It'd be great to know if that works as well as NVIDIA claims. We don't have one set. We would love to do one. We would love to get our hands on either one of those. I really want a 1080. I'd take a 1070, but
Yeah.
and I know, John, you feel the same way. But
We're hoping EVGA comes through and gets us one.
well, we need to hit
Just-
a lot of those other guys up too.
We
Zotac,
do.
PNY, Asus. I think, does Asus make that card?
Yep, Asus.
So yeah, we need to get that in place.
Which, speaking of that card, I don't know if some of you guys maybe watched it. I guess we're still in a still shot or a new still shot, but haven't dropped anymore, so I don't know. But anyway, I wonder if a lot of you guys have seen the reviews for the 1080s that finally came out the other day. It was interesting because NVIDIA said that one 1080 would outperform 980 SLI, and a lot of the reviews found that wasn't the case. That 980 still performed a little better. Of course, I wonder, there's a lot of optimization and stuff, and that takes time.
That buffering, I just did what Wim did. It started buffering. I just refreshed because I got it open on another tab, and it came right back up. So I think this is a YouTube deal.
This could be a YouTube thing. Like I said, the computer is running perfectly fine right now. So
yeah, I just got another one. Reset it, and then it came right back up. So it's definitely seems like a YouTube thing right now.
And if it isn't, we're gonna blame them anyway.
Before we get to more questions and answers, or questions and our answers, I got 3 codes for the Japanese car pack. Just sent one off to Billy, so we should have that. Billy should have something up for you fairly soon.
Sweet.
So what's the next question?
So asks, let's see. Hi, I've bought a sub to iRacing. Can you explain the license, please? It is free to test, as in if I buy Nordschleife in the car, can I test the track, or do I have to obtain a specific license? So if you buy new content, you can drive it in a test session all you want. The license system comes down to what you want to race, and it says what safety rating on the series you have to have or have to attain to drive in that series. But if you purchase a piece of content, you can test it all you want. But to go in that in specific series, that's when you got to have the high enough safety rating.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of people dropping out because the buffering issues.
Okay. You want to kill it and get these questions next week?
You know what I'm wondering? If people take it off of live, like I just did that. I rewound the stream a little bit on the page that I was running, and it seems to be running fine like that. So maybe just take it off of live, guys. Just rewind a hair, and maybe it won't do that. Then again, I just saw a big chop missing, it looked like. Anyway. Yeah, maybe we should just wrap it up here.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we're at an hour and 20 minutes anyway. Let's see if there's any one good question we could just take really quick to close it out here. Not that your questions aren't good. All your questions are great, but
You're all special people.
You are.
This is a decent one from Justin Aya, I believe.
Okay, you take one, I'll take one.
Yeah, how does projector versus panel compare? I haven't raced on projector. From what I've seen, projector, I don't think you can, for the most part, what I've seen, is you don't get quite as nice of an image as a panel. especially with how nice these modern monitors have become. But with a projector, you can do a few cool things. You can set it up, and we've shown videos of this in the past, where guys have created setups where it looks like they are sitting in a car. We're able to kind of wrap the screen, and you can run the projector a lot lower than you can on monitors. Where monitors are kind of like this, where you can run a projector a lot higher. So you can do some really neat things with a projector versus a panel. I think when you're talking like price-wise, a quality projector versus quality panel, you're talking about the same pricing. Is that what you've seen?
Yeah, for projectors, yeah. It's
about $1,000 for a nice projector, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think to do it right, you need to have multiple projectors.
True.
But I would love to try it out. As a matter of fact, who was it from our forums? Maya Man? The guy with the Porsche cockpit? Yes. Man, I meant to have it on the show. But he's finished his cockpit, and that thing is so sweet. And I'm not sure if he's running 3 projectors or just 1. You know what? He's running one of those Icarus curved screens.
Yes, that's right.
So
yeah, we'll have to bring that back on the show now that it's done and show that, because I know he created a pretty sweet looking video of that.
Yeah, he did. So my question that I'm going to take, and we're going to wrap things up here, from Scott T. Do you guys think that laser scanning is really necessary, considering after a year or two the tracks have changed, bumps, pavement, grip, that they aren't as much like they were when we were scanned? That is a great question. It depends on what you're really using it for. If you think about it, all your visual references are going to stay the same. Sure, the track is going to change over time for sure, but your visual references are not, unless they reconfigure that particular track. So, and is it necessary? No, I don't think so. I mean, honestly, before they started laser scanning, I had just as much fun racing on non-laser scan tracks as I do on laser scan tracks. But it is pretty awesome knowing that you're running on a track that's within a centimeter accurate of the real thing. What's your take on that, John?
Yeah, and I totally agree. I think even though I hear what you're saying, where tracks do change, whether it's, let's just say, the track itself settling a bit, or updates over the years. Like Watkins Glen, I know, for example, scanned a while ago in iRacing, and they've gone and they've added a lot of safer barrier around there. And then after last summer's NASCAR race, they repaved it, so it's changed a lot. IndyCar is going back. That got announced last week. That's pretty awesome. So I understand that, maybe not complaint but critique, but I think laser scan tracks are just one of the best things out there. I mean, like Darren said, you didn't know what you missed before laser scan tracks, but now that they're out, I know what I miss for the most part. It depends. I think Forza does a really good job on non-laser scan tracks. I think Racing does a really good job on non-laser scan tracks. So it depends, but I don't know. I love them. I think it's pretty impressive. Like Darren said, you definitely feel like you're now driving on the same track as the real drivers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, in chat here, it sounds like Dominic Holmes said it seems like YouTube's buffering on all live streams right now.
Yeah, so I think it's a YouTube thing for sure. You know what else too? I've got on that rewind. I rewinded a little bit, and I'm not seeing any hiccups, any stops. So it's definitely something with the with YouTube right now and their particular connection.
We didn't break it.
Yeah, we didn't do anything. It's not us. And somebody was saying that we should run Twitch. I don't think. I mean, we could try it. You and I should run a test to see if we can run a Twitch and YouTube simultaneous live stream. But anyway, back to the laser scanning. John Ulmer brought up some great points. He said, of course, laser scanning is necessary. Laser scanning gives accurate distances and curve diameters. And I agree. I agree with that 100%. Does it make sim racing better? Again, it's cool to know that you're driving on tracks that are, pretty damn close to the real thing. When I say pretty damn close, again, within a centimeter accurate, it's like, do we need it any more than that?
It's close enough. It's getting it.
And real world racing drivers get to use it as a training tool, which is really cool. So
yes.
So anyway, that being said, should we take another one? Let's take one more question each, John, and then wrap this up.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I did see another comment. Someone said that right now their Forza Motorsport 6 Apex is downloading in the background with an update. So it'll be interesting to see what that's all about. Last week we talked about how Microsoft updated their universal platform, whatever acronym they use, to allow for you to unlock frame rates. So it'll be interesting, and maybe that update and maybe some other updates just showed up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. What's really going to be interesting to see is when they have wheel support. Yeah, triple monitor support. Lionel Alberto, any news about iRacing Week 13 in the next update? We've heard Imola is coming in that next update, so really looking forward to that. Can't think of any cars off the top of my head.
No, Imola is the only thing that I know of. I'm not even really sure about new features or anything like that. I don't know if it's going to be like the last update, which had just a ton of stuff.
Here's a question. The guy obviously hasn't been watching all the shows recently. Titan Star, why are they in different places? Well, because I am in Washington State, and John is 2,000 plus miles away in Ohio State. So yes. That is why. John Ulmer, I have no idea about a Fanatic. And this is actually, it's going to reference two questions or comments here. I have no idea about a Fanatic direct drive wheel. No idea. Yeah, Thomas hinted at it a year and a half, 2 years ago in the iRacing forums, but I have no idea. Honestly, if I did, most likely I'd be told not to say anything about it. But I'll tell you, I have not been told anything. As far as I know, they're working on that budget base. And then the other question Tom Jones asked, Darren, do you hate it when people say Fanatec as opposed to Fanatic? And no, I can see why people would think it's Fanatec, because Fanatic is not spelled like that. But I specifically, in the first time I interviewed Thomas on one of our shows many years ago, I asked him, how do you pronounce it? Is it Fanatec or Fanatic? And he specifically said it's Fanatic. But tomato, potato, potato, Peugeot.
Well, the funny thing is Thomas doesn't even care, because he commented somewhere, I don't know where it was recently, where someone asked him that question, and he said he thought Fanatic when the name was created, but he said he's okay with people calling it Fanatec. Yeah. So it's kind of like, so he doesn't even care. So call it whatever you want. We call it Fanatic.
Yep. So that being said, I think we're going to wrap it up.
I think so.
So we appreciate you guys all hanging out, dealing with the buffering issues. Totally out of our hands. There was really nothing we could do. I know we did have some drop frame issues on our end. Then we'll see what we can do to stop that from happening. It just could have been a, glitch that rarely happens on our end. So we'd appreciate a thumbs up on this video. Anything else, John, from you before we head on out of here?
Nope. Just as always, thanks for watching, and be back next week for some more news and chats.
Yeah, and lots of videos coming. We got, as John mentioned, he's got the TMX review coming soon. He's doing that. And I'll tell you right now, my opinion echoes his. So if you wonder why I'm not in that review, it's because there's really no reason for me to be. And lots of iRace for Life videos coming. Billy's working on, he's going to do the Forza NASCAR. I'm assuming he's going to do the Assetto Corsa. Oh, John, I'll get to your question before we go, your shoes. The Assetto Corsa Japanese car pack. John, email me. You're supposed to email me about your shoes, dude. You got a $100 credit for Racingline USA. John Ulmer, who's in our chat, won 2 different certificates at the iRace for Life seminar for $50 each. So he's got $100 in credit at Racingline USA. So John, email me, Darren at isrtv.com or insidesimracing.tv. And by the way, make sure you attach your Indy 500 setup for me, and I'll get you. I'll get you. As a matter of fact, I'm not giving you your $100 credit until. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, email me, John, and we'll take care of that for you. There goes my Airbud, so that should be time to go. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and for my buddy John Sable here, I'm Darren Ganji. Thanks for watching This Week Inside Sim Racing, May 18th edition. We'll see you guys next time.